Hey guys, hope everything's going well. You guys know the drill. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below. Follow me on Instagram at AIH_sports. Alrighty, today I'm going to be doing a video that some people may not like. However, I'm not here to pander to anyone. And I've gotten to this topic before, but I wanted to ask you guys. I'm getting new subscribers, so I want to ask some of them as well. Are the hedge funds, private equity guys, the Wall Street crowd, are they destroying this hobby? Is this hobby becoming way too commercialized? And ultimately, that's going to be harmful for the hobby because after this next cycle, you're going to see a lot of people leave. You're starting to see some people leave right now. I'm seeing in the comment section, I want to quit sports cards. Or if you see some content creators, they aren't doing as many videos as they used to. Now, I'm not going to be doing as many videos later this month. I'm going to be having a really busy December, end of December. But I try to do videos when I do have the time. That being said, I wanted to look at the ownership again of PSA. Obviously, Nat Turner is leading it, but then you have Steve Cohen. This guy, he owns the Mets. And the way that he's running the Mets makes me think he's trying to run it like a hedge fund. He's making all these aggressive bets. He's going on Twitter if someone doesn't re-sign with his team. And then what happens is he signs Max Scherzer. You know, Max Scherzer, by the way, he's a competitor. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of respect for him. He played Game 6, or he pitched Game 6 with pretty much a messed up neck. I don't know how the hell he pitched and won that game for them. That was a great performance. His wife, a few days before that game against the Astros, his wife dressed him. That was how much pain he was in. And he still was able to throw and pitch a fantastic game against the Astros. He had a broken nose that year after he bunted a ball and it hit his nose. So this guy's a warrior, don't get me wrong. Now, the thing is, he's going to get paid $43 million a year, each year for 3 years, and he can opt out in the second year. So Max Scherzer's like, hey, why not? They're paying me this much amount of money. And then, on top of it, he's at the age of 37. Okay? This is an age where pitchers may not be in their best condition. Okay, Verlander was out last year with Tommy John. I think he's around the same age. And the Astros re-signed him for $25 million. Okay, that's much better than $43 million. Granted, Scherzer had a 15-4 year. He did miss the playoffs, or he did miss some of the World Series. He said that it was the Dodgers' fault because they didn't pitch him too much. I don't know if that's true, but that's what Max Scherzer says. So, regardless, this is Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen also traded for Lindor. You had this team trade for Lindor. He signed him to a 10-year, $341 million. What happens in Lindor's first year? What is he batting? What, 330, 340, whatever it was? That's pretty bad for a guy who's slated to make $31 million per year. I get it with the signing bonus. Some years he may get paid more, but just on average, about $31 million a year. That's insane. Why did they not just wait till free agency to pick him up? It's just strange. So, Cohn, you know, how he's made billions of dollars is through aggressive bets in the market. But you have to remember, all these hedge fund guys, they get bailed out. 98 with long-term capital management. And getting into long-term capital management, I'm going to get into the whole sports card thing, but hear me out. So this is the reason why I don't trust these hedge fund and Wall Street guys. I do delve in options. I do trade, so it's not like I don't participate in it, but I am not a fan of these guys because they do not know how to manage risk, and they apparently are the smartest guys in the room. Some of them call themselves the masters of the universe, like the old Goldman Sachs CEO who blew up MF Global. I forgot what his name is. But anyways, so long-term capital management. The guys advising this hedge fund that blew up in 1998, they came up with the Black-Scholes model, the options model. So you have all these Greek symbols. You have omega, you have theta, you have delta, etc. They all came up with it. So what they decided to do, they decided to sell all these options naked, meaning they didn't put they had to put collateral down, but it was just basically betting that the market would continue to go up. So that strategy works when the market's going up. However, when the market crashes, what ends up happening is, or when you see a huge spike in volatility, then the option prices just go through the roof. This is why no one should really sell naked options. Warren Buffett's sister, I read, lost everything in the crash of 87. I've done that strategy too, and I've learned a lot of lessons from that. So I should have read the history of long-term capital management. But anyways, the guys who won a Nobel Prize in 1997 for the Black-Scholes model, they ended up blowing up their own hedge fund using their own model. Okay? These are the guys that get bailed out time in, time out. And I'm not saying every hedge fund does that. No. But these are the type of guys. And they're going to get into trouble, in my opinion, in the coming years. They're going to be asking for Uncle Sam for a bailout, for a handout. So these guys use excessive amount of risk. They do not know how to manage it. And they get bailed out time in and time out. Now, going back to Steve Cohen. He's made terrible mistakes. Not terrible mistakes. In my opinion, he's made the wrong moves. With Lindor, with Scherzer. And he did pay Sterling Marte a 4-year, close to an $80 million deal. He's paying him $20 million a year, where Sterling Marte came off a pretty decent year. Now I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know a bunch of free agents, what they do to have career years or decent years. I've heard through the grapevine that they take a lot of painkillers, okay? So I'm looking at some of the aggressive moves. Now, some people might be like, hey, this may actually help the team. You got Scherzer, you got Syndergaard, you got DeGrom. Yeah, but all these guys have had injury problems. So, in my opinion, I'm more of a fan of what the 1990s Yankees did. More small ball rather than more of a flashy team, in my opinion. This is more flashy based. And I believe that the Mets, while they may get into the playoffs, I don't think they will be as good as some people are thinking. Just because you have DeGrom and Scherzer, you have to remember they're getting older and injury problems will be out there. But going to the hobby. So we have Nat Turner, who I've discussed in previous videos, where I believe he is not telling the truth. He wants to go on some of these platforms where people obviously are going to be nice to him, and sometimes they're going to be grilling him, but they're not going to get everything that's needed to come out. For instance, earlier this year, they said that, oh yeah, we're going to open up, but what ended up happening was the prices were still relatively high. Why not just say that, hey, we're going to open up, but it's going to be at a higher price? And instead of dancing around when they close everything down, they should have said, hey, look, we have $10 million. I'm just saying this. We have $10 million cards in backlog. We took way too much more than we needed to. This is going to take over a year. Why not just be honest about that and be upfront from the get-go? That's what I would have done. I would have taken the heat and the punishment in the beginning, but then if you're more honest with your customers, while some may leave in the short run, they will respect you. And dancing around this, acting like a politician, beating around the bush, in my opinion, that's not the way to do business. Be more honest. You could be nice about it, but still, don't dance around it. That's not my style. And, you saw hints from Nat Turner again, saying that, oh yeah, hinting is on his Instagram from what I heard, that, oh yeah, we're going to open back up. And we're going to have some price openings. Not price openings. We're going to allow more orders to come through. But what ends up happening, all these not regular customers, all these group submitters get priority. So I'm just looking at it that, okay, this guy is not transparent. I like transparency. I don't like when people just hide behind, you could say, their lies or their deception. That's just my preference. Some people may say, okay, that's just a better way because you don't want people to go ballistic on you. I understand some people might think like that, but that's just not me. I'm more of an upfront person. I tell you what I think. I don't care if people like it or not. Now, in regards to going back to the hedge funds, it appears that what they're doing is they're trying to buy up all these places what they acquired gold in. That smells like conflict of interest. They bought up Card Ladder, and I heard some of them talking about, there's all this negativity going on in this hobby, and they're not looking at this huge decrease in price. And while prices may rebound in the coming years, they're not telling you what's going to happen. So that's just my own thought process about that. I mean, they did get acquired by Nat Turner. They do have a pretty nice, they have nice graphs, don't get me wrong. They have nice charts. But going back to all of this, you're seeing the hedge fund mentality in this hobby. And this worries me because, okay, the hedge funds, while this whole market was cheap, they could have bought this a long time ago. They want to buy it when the market is booming like crazy. All these acquisitions, you have to remember, happened towards the top of the market. What was it, like earlier this year or late December? I believe the deal got finalized around that time. Market was on fire. And now, they're making all these sort of acquisitions. Golden gets bought. I mean, I don't blame Ken Golden for selling. I think he started his business in 2008 while the market crashed, and he sold pretty much to the top of the market. That's good for him. Now, you see the hedge fund guy, even though it's not, Steve Cohen's not the main guy, it's Nat Turner. But you still have that mentality going on. And what hedge funds don't make that much money. A lot of them don't, because they buy high and they sell higher. And I'm not sure if Nat Turner and Cohen and the other investors, they want to do the same thing. They want to buy high and they want to try selling higher. If they're doing that, I could understand why they're trying to consolidate all these businesses. They want to acquire as much as possible. They did acquire Wada Games. In my opinion, that could help Wada in terms of population reports and more capital. So I'm not necessarily against the Wada Games acquisition. I think that's strategic. But the golden thing, that seems a bit too sketchy for me. And now they have card ladder. So they're making all these acquisitions when the market's hot. But when the market wasn't hot, you didn't see all these hedge fund guys. You didn't see Blackstone. Remember, Blackstone got bailed out in 2008 with the stock market crash, right? I believe their stock price was like $3 a share. Now it's doing pretty well over a decade. And a lot of people have confidence in them. A lot of people saying, oh, look, they know how to make money. No, they got bailed out. All these hedge fund guys got bailed out, private equity guys. And they just leveraged back up and they bought CSG. And they're making all these acquisitions now. And I'm asking, where were they before? And what, in my opinion, I see a lot of guys, leveraging up, buying the hot names. I mean, they have nice cards. Don't get me wrong. I look at their cards, I'm like, wow, that looks pretty nice. And I'm just saying, which of these dealers, which of these private equity guys are going to be left holding the bag? And how many of them are going to be needing bailouts, come 2024, 2025? I'm just thinking that I don't think this is good for the hobby. I'm not against capitalism, don't get me wrong. I just believe that all this cheap money from the Fed is just creating distortions in the market. And these hedge funds are going to get slaughtered. You could say slaughtered. And they're going to regret making the purchase as of this moment. Now, if they made it 5-6 years ago, we're talking a different story. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. I know some of you may not like it, but I tell you what I think. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below, guys. Thanks, bye.